What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are back with the top 8 from the Keyforge Archon Vault Tour in Poland. We got Stefan van Yipper on the left, Daniel Dobre on the right, and it looks like we're already rolling. Daniel looks like he's playing his first card, not yet. So on the left, we have got a Dis Logo Shadows deck. We've got library access and a whole bunch of archiving. Double Dominator Bauble, double Relentless Whispers, double Magda the Rat. On the right, we've got Emperor Triptomore. No, we don't, sorry. So that was the deck on the left, on the right. On the left, we've got Emperor Triptomore Platz, a Dis Logo Shadows deck. And weirdly, you've got a Maverick Flaxia in logos, which is kind of cool. 2 Routine Job, another library access, plus a Mother. So 2 library access decks. Now, to be fair, between them, they've got 0 copy. No, sorry. So Emperor Triptomore on the left has got 1 copy of Phase Shift, no copies of Wild Wormhole. On the right, Eli Lo Suffer. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be honest with you. We've got library access, but no Phase Shift, no Wild Wormhole. And whenever I'm looking at a library access deck, I'm always looking for Phase Shift and Wild Wormhole, because they're the cards that let you cheat. As in, play 2 cards in 1 to draw 2 extra cards. So Daniel does go first. He lays down a long fused mine, so he can blow it whenever he likes, to deal 3 damage to each enemy creature not on a flank. And then we go over to Stefan here, who gets a Titan Mechanic on one side of the field and a Novu Archaeologist on the other. It's got an action that lets you archive a card from your discard pile. There is quite a lot of archiving going on. I love that we've got... Wait. Okay, I'm just double checking here. We do have 2 logos decks. Okay. So Daniel's house is there. I know it says Shadows Mars Dis. It is, in fact, Shadows Mars logos. So we have got 3 creatures down. We've got a Brain Eater. We've got a Ganymede Archivist and a Research Smoko. We're then using Titan Mechanic just to grab himself an Amber. And then we get a Mother down as well. Very nice. That'll do, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do. The artifact that hit the field for Stefan is a Screaming Cave. It's got an action, shuffle your hand, and discard pile into your deck. You wouldn't want to do that before the end of your turn, but if you've got kind of a terrible hand, or you've got cards in your discard pile you really want back, you can essentially use Screaming Cave to get your discard pile into your deck, fresh hand of 6, and cross your fingers you get what you want. If you're digging for a card that's in your discard pile, it's phenomenal. So, we see a bit of reaping here. Both players get a couple of amber. Nothing too major. And then, yeah, just a little bit more reaping. Oh, we got a Bouncing Death Quark coming down, ladies and gentlemen. We got a Bouncing Death Quark. Bouncing Death Quark, then, it's... You destroy an enemy creature and a friendly creature as often as you like, but you've got to do the whole thing. You can't just keep destroying your opponent's creatures. And now he's put Bouncing Deathquark down, I was going to say. So he'd put it down there as if it was an artifact, and that's what was confusing me and making me to go quiet for a minute. I'm like, it's an action. Why is it sitting down there like an artifact? Bit sad that on the last game we had someone from Bouncing Deathquark on that side of the stream, but didn't actually play it. I think there should be a rule that if you name your team after a card, you should only be able to play decks with that card in. But maybe that's just me. Okay, so this is a bit confusing. So here's what we've got. We've got remote access coming down from Daniel, gets him an amber, use an opponent's artifact as if it were your own. He's then using his opponent's Screaming Cave to shuffle his hand and discard pile into his deck. And then, of course, it'll be the end of his turn, and because there'll be nothing else to do, I suppose he could still use a Long Fuse Mind if he wanted, and then he could draw 6 cards. It's a nice way to refresh your hand. Like I say, if you're getting to the end of the turn and you've got a handful of cards you can't get rid of, it gets rid of them. Similarly, if you've got cards in your discard pile you really want back, it gets them back. It's not perfect, because it can completely clog your hand, it can give you a worse hand, etc. I don't think Screaming Cave is something you want to do every turn, but I do think that it is something that can be big under the right circumstances. So 3 Fates destroys the 3 most powerful creatures, which is everything out there. We then see a Mind Barb coming down, gets an amber bonus, and your opponent shuffles a random card from their hand into their deck. What people generally tend to do here, and I do kind of like this, they go, discard from their hand. They don't shuffle into deck, they discard it. It's just like, look, you got 6 cards in hand because you do till 6 at the end of your turn. Let's just roll the dice, 1 to 6, boom. Save any, and then it is actually a random card. So I kind of like that. That's kind of cool to me. That makes me kind of happy. So we got nothing on the board except a couple of artifacts. Nobody's managed to get any creatures out here yet. So what's actually going to happen here? Okay. Oh. He's got Gateway to this, which does destroy each creature and gets you 3 chains. He discarded it. He didn't play it. He then just gets down a couple of creatures there just to start building up his board a little bit. There's a Toxin there. When you reap, your opponent discards a random card from their hand. And there is an Eater of the Dead, not to be confused with Brain Eater. Purge a card. When you fight or reap, you purge a creature from a discard pile and put a 1+1 power counter on Eater of the Dead. So Archon comes down to steal an amber. That's going to get Stefan very close to check. Last game with the Grump Buggy and Iron Obelisk, it was very awkward, and Jabber Pack and Grabber Jammer. Last game it was really awkward to figure out exactly how much keys cost to forge. As it stands at the moment, it seems a bit easier to figure out. So we do see Relentless Whispers here coming down, doing a couple of damage to Toxin. And Stefan will end his turn on check, but Daniel's playing Shadows, so nominally on check. Daniel's probably got a way around it. Although I say that, I'm not seeing great Shadows cards in his hand. I know one of the Shadows cards in his hand is Poison Wave, which is great for getting a bit of damage down. It will destroy the Urchin, but it won't take any amber away. It won't get Stefan any further away from forging. So that's not ideal. So there goes the Poison Wave then. Now it does 2 damage to each creature, so Toxin goes down as well. Eater of the Dead takes 2 damage. Eater of the Dead's a great one if you can get it rolling, but you rarely can. Umbra goes down. Special Delivery goes down. Ghostly Hand gets 2 amber, would steal 1 if your opponent only had 1, but it doesn't, and that's it. So it looks like Daniel is content to just let Stefan forge a key. And you can't be too upset with that play, right? Because Daniel's ending his turn with 8 amber. Yes, Stefan's forged the first key, but there's a lot of game to go, and Daniel's basically said, look, maybe I can get my opponent 1 away from forging, and maybe he couldn't. But it's far better for me to just set myself up, make sure that I can forge a key next turn. Because now if Stefan wants to stop Daniel forging a key, he's got to somehow get 3 amber away from him, which is significantly more difficult. So Daniel's got a little bit of a board here. He's got a couple of creatures, got a couple of artifacts, got himself 8 amber. Stefan's forged a key, but he doesn't have any amber, he doesn't have any creatures. Does have a couple of artifacts, including a Lash of Broken Dreams. So if Stefan chooses to go Dis this turn, and he's not, he goes Twin Bolt and Mission. So yeah. Oh, there's the Flaxia. I love Flaxia. Unfortunately, it's not doing everything you'd expect now. Flaxia gains 2 amber if you gain more if you control more creatures than your opponent, and it doesn't. He does have too much to protect, mind you. But it looks like that is going to be it for now. Of course, one of the things we do see that that Stefan has is phase shift, and sometimes it's kind of, and that was how he was able to play the too much to protect there. Obviously, it would be, you know, one of the things which I think is quite cool about his deck. If you can use Screaming Cave to keep getting the phase shift back, that can really, really help. He does also have 2 Titan Mechanic, so it's not outside the realm of possibility that he could get a Titan Mechanic on each flank and then forge for 4 amber. I've yet to see a game where both players have got a Titan Mechanic on each flank and you're forging for 2 amber. That would be amazing. Oh, I kind of like that. I'd love to have some weird Keyforge rules, like if you've got Titan Mechanic, you have to play it down on a flank. Although that could ruin the game. I suppose it would be unless you already have one, because otherwise it could force you to put them both down on a flank and stop you playing creatures, and that would be broken. That would not be ideal. Now, we do have both players having forged a key at this stage. Neither player really running away with the game. Neither player really taking a huge command here. Both doing all right. Now, we do see a Poltergeist coming down, using Special Delivery to take out another creature. So a nice little sequence of play there. Poltergeist is a kind of annoying card, to be honest. It gives you an amber bonus, use an artifact controlled by another player as if it were yours, and then destroy it. So he basically used that to use Special Delivery to destroy a creature. So really nice use of that there. Ooh, Pit Lord comes down. Now, we do not often see Pit Lord coming down in competitive games. Pit Lord gives you a double amber bonus, and it's got Taunt, so that your opponent has to attack it, not its neighbours. But while Pit Lord is in play, you must choose Dis as your active house. And a lot of people shy away from Pit Lord for that reason. Now, what Pit Lord has allowed Stefan to do is get up to 7 amber, and that's beautiful. Now, he's now played Control the Weak, so he is able to choose Daniel's active house next turn. But the general rule of Pit Lord is, it's great if you've got an out. If you've got a way to get out of Pit Lord is a phenomenal card. If you don't have a way to get out of Pit Lord is horrendous. Because your opponent knows you're going dis, and this is an Archon tournament, right? So in an Archon tournament, you get to look at your opponent's deck list for 2 or 3 minutes before the game begins. So that means that you know what's in your opponent's deck. So Daniel is going to know what Stefan's got, and then he's going to know what's in his disc suite. Now, there is a key hammer, which is kind of annoying, but there isn't much amber control. There is a shuffles. Your opponent loses an amber at the end of their turn, which has actually hit the field, which is great. And there is Lash of Broken Dreams, and the pair of those together can stop you forging. But it's not... You're not going to win the game with only one house. Now, he's used Screaming Cave. Uh-oh. Restring Guntus hits the field here. Choose a house. Your opponent cannot choose that house as their active until Restring Guntus leaves play. Now, I do believe we fixed this with a ruling a little while ago, whereby if you cannot choose a active house, you can choose whichever active house you like. They're just kind of talking about it now. I know with Restring Guntus and Control the Weak, we basically fixed it so that if you didn't have an active house, you could choose any of them. I think that applied to all scenarios. I could be wrong here. I thought there was a ruling whereby if you couldn't choose an active house, you could choose whichever active house you like. And Daniel doesn't look happy. So I think he's just turned off Pit Lord and just turned Pit Lord into a 9-power creature with Taunt. I know we had that thing a while ago where you could have, say, Restring Guntus and 2 Control the Weak and literally lock your opponent out of all their houses. And the ruling was made that if you had no active house, you could choose whichever house you liked as your active. So presumably here, Pit Lord forces him into this. Restring Guntus forces him out of this. And now he can choose whichever house he likes. Yeah. That's pretty big. Now, Carl Wanna Do's Crazy Killing Machine, who is a Keyforge judge, has just confirmed to me that that was the ruling. Incidentally, right, it has to be the ruling, doesn't it? Because any game where you can just play a combination of cards that your opponent literally isn't allowed to play the game anymore would just be absolutely dumb. And you saw from Daniel's body language, as soon as he played that Restring Guntus, and the judge gave the ruling, you knew he'd made a misplay. I would literally only just finished talking about how awkward Pit Lord can be, and then Daniel's like, hey, you know the only downside of this phenomenal card? Let me take it away. So now we do see a library access comes down, plays a phase shift to draw a card, and now he's going to be able to play a non-logos card. Plays Quick So the Adventurer, draws a card, can still play non-logos once this turn. Twin Bolt Emission comes down. Honestly, if you're Stefan, you want to leave that Restring Guntus out. You definitely want Restring Guntus. Because as soon as Restring Guntus goes away, Pit Lord is forcing you to use this again. So what you want, very, very much, is you want that Restring Guntus to stay in play. I know it's a 1-power creature and it's got an amber that you can get back. No. Now, at some point in the future, you use, on a Shadow's turn, you use Seek a Needle to take out the Restring Guntus to gain an amber. Maybe when you're about to forge your 3rd key, that's fine. And to be fair, you can use Seek a Needle to take out Restring Guntus, gain an amber, and then get another amber. That would be a really fun, really nice play. But you do not get rid of that Restring Guntus while Pit Lord is out. Not unless you absolutely have to. Using it to gain 2 amber that wins you the game? Yes. That Restring Guntis is making that Pit Lord broken. So that's what you keep out. Simple as that. Okay, so there's a little bit of a ruling here. I believe a card may have been drawn slightly too early. So they're just trying to figure out exactly. Oh, it's because of the Ember Imp. Okay. So, remember, Ember Imp being in play means that Stefan can only play 2 cards during his turn. He's played 2 cards. Which means he's got to stop playing cards. And we've seen this on stream before. We have literally seen a Vault Tour final where one player played more than 2 cards with Ember Imp out on a library access turn and then got ruined. Now, I believe he's actually in the middle of trying to play a Twin Bolt mission, but he played library access, that's card number 1. He played Quixo the Adventurer, that's card number 2. He's done. He has played the cards. And we saw exactly this on a Vault Tour final previously. Ember Imp in play a library access, got a card in hand, plays a different card. Oh, I've lost my opportunity. Oh no, sorry, he can play Quixo the Adventurer. He played Phase Shift beforehand. So literally... Okay, so now the Ember Imp has gone away, he can crack on. Library access card number 1. Phase Shift card number 2. But now that the Ember Imp has gone away, he can roll. So now he can play the Quixo the Adventurer, draw himself a card. There we go. So that was a very easy fix there, ladies and gentlemen. And we talked about this. I did the floor rules right before this event. I published a video about the floor rules for Keyforge. And where it can be rewound, we do rewind it. And it was an easy rewind. You pick up Quixo the Adventurer. There, you've only played 2 cards. Carry on. Now the Twin Bolt mission takes out Restring Guntis. Flaxia, I don't... He's now back into this, though. Pit Lord isn't a when you play it ability. Pit Lord is a while it is in play ability. And don't get me wrong, right? He's got 3 good disc creatures on the field. He's got Shuffle, so his opponent loses an amber at the end of his turn. He's got Pit Lord as a 9-power creature with Taunt. And he's got Shula. But he's now stuck into playing this again. And he's got Screaming Cave. And he's got Lash of Broken Dreams. So now Long Fuse Mind is being blown up. And it takes out Shaffles, does 3 damage to Pit Lord. Titan Mechanic goes down, Brain Eater goes down, Bouncing Death Quark goes down. Takes out both of Daniel's creatures and everything but Pit Lord. But Daniel doesn't want to take down the Pit Lord. Daniel wants Stefan to be limited to 12 cards in his deck. Now looking at his deck, looking at his hand, we've got a Keyhammer and a Poltergeist. They are the only disc cards in Stefan's hand. He's got Keyhammer and Poltergeist. Well, Daniel ain't forged a key, so there goes Keyhammer. I suppose he can use Dominator Bauble, but it isn't going to do anything. That's with Poltergeist. Yeah, just destroys it, gains an amber. And he can use Lash of Broken Dreams, but that's going to be irrelevant. And he could use Screaming Cave. Okay, there's his out. There we go. 3 fates. And that's exactly what I was saying when he played Pit Lord originally. You've got to have an out to Pit Lord. You've got to have, well, I teach business, right? And this is what we would refer to as an exit strategy. You have got to have a way to get him off the field. Now, in the previous turn, I was quite surprised that Stefan took out Restring Guntis before Pit Lord was gone. But Stefan knew that he had 3 fates. So he knew that he would be able to get rid of the Pit Lord. As I say, the players have always got access to more info than we do. So we see, I believe that's a Mac the Knife coming down. Sorry, a Magda the Rat in the middle. We got an Urchin, we got a Nexus. And we've got a surprisingly short amount of time left. Like a really weirdly short amount of time left. We're down to 9.5 minutes and we got 3 keys forged between them. So I believe that is a customs office coming into play there. Means your opponent must pay you an amber to use an artifact. And we had a ruling on that one of the streams over the weekend. If they have no amber, they don't get to use the artifact. It's not if you use an artifact, pay an amber, in which case if you had none, you wouldn't have to pay. It is you must pay to use. So bait and switch comes down, steals a couple of amber. That's quite nice. Seeker Needle takes down the Urchin. That's quite nice. Ooh, Routine Job steals an amber. Now, this deck only has 2 copies. Does he have another one to steal the last 2 amber? Routine Job steals an amber, and then another amber for every copy of Routine Job in your discard pile. So the first steals 1, the second steals 2, and so on. There are decks that have like 4 copies of it. They're really fun. Great amber control. So, Stefan has actually ended that turn on check. Now, he uses Lash of Broken Dreams. Daniel's got 1 key and 4 amber. Stefan is on a dis turn. He's using... I said end. I don't think he's actually ended his turn yet. But he's got 6 amber. He's used Lash of Broken Dreams. Lash of Broken Dreams is a funny one. You should get in the habit of using it. Like here, there's no way Daniel's forging a key. Hysteria gets those creatures back into his hand. Gets the amber back. But you should always be in the habit of using it. Now, Mind Barb here gets an amber. It scars a random card from Daniel's hand. And it looks like Stefan is closing this game out at this stage. It looks like Stefan is just getting ready to end the game. Because... now, there's a lot of cards there. But that's partly due to the hysteria. Well, it's entirely due to the hysteria. So... that's a True Baroo. Oh, we don't see that creature very much. You must lose 3 amber to play it. When it's destroyed, you gain 5 amber. 7 power creature with Taunt. So what's Daniel got? There are 8 amber. Oh. Straight away, he's got too much to protect to steal 2. Magda the Rat, when you play it, you steal 2. Oh, that'll do it. That'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. And now Daniel ends the turn with 8 amber. Hey, I said he had to steal some amber in order to stop his opponent forging. Sembrada has pointed out, technically Titan Mechanic always has to be played on a flank. Going back to my idea from earlier. Excellent. Let me rephrase to, must be kept on a flank. So Urchin goes down to steal an amber. 2 Dodger hit the field. Now, we've got 8 amber because Stefan played his own too much to protect. Followed it up with an Urchin to put Daniel down to 5 amber. And, I mean, look, Daniel's given it his all here. And Daniel's made some very good plays. But it does look like Stefan is in control of this game. Now, Routine Job is going to steal 2 amber now because there's already 1 in the discard. And although Daniel bought himself a turn, Daniel's only forged 1 key. If they were on 2 keys each and doing this back and forth, maybe Daniel can pull it out. But when Stefan is up by a key, it's very, very difficult to try and imagine that this is gonna end up going in Daniel's way. Uses a Seeker Needle to destroy his own Urchin to gain himself another amber. He's ending the turn on 11 amber. And what's Daniel got? So now he's doing his library access turn, better late than never. Plays a Ganymede Archivist to draw himself a card. Now the thing is, Daniel doesn't have Phase Shift. And he doesn't have Effervescent Principle. And he doesn't have Wild Wormhole. So I don't know what he's searching for here. No, I don't think there's anything he's got. He throws his cards down on the table and just waiting for confirmation that Daniel has scooped. He has scooped. Congratulations to Stefan, who is putting himself in the top 4 of the Archon Vault Tour from Poland. A very well-played game by both players, but at the end of the day, at the end of the game there, Stefan just had that little bit too much amber, and unfortunately Daniel couldn't keep up. He let the game go on a couple of extra turns, but unfortunately just ran out of steam, and I think we are all going to remember that game for the Pit Lord. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that very much indeed. It's just a just a shame, unfortunately, that we had to have one of those players losing that game. It's never fun, especially like you get all this way to the end and you've had a really good game and you know, you've played well and you've got a good deck and you're having a good tournament. But the fact of the matter is everybody but one person is going to be eliminated. As much of a cliche as that is, it's true. And unfortunately, this time it was Daniel. But congratulations, top 8 of Ultra is a very good achievement indeed. So commiserations to Daniel, congratulations to Stefan. If you're on the YouTube, thank you very much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. Look after yourselves till next time. Check out the Patreon. Bye.